if you want to do something that is wrong, you know. So that you don't need someone to tell you what you're doing. You know, if the purpose for the break is escape, you know. Sometimes, you know what, I'm just tired of this person. Let me just go and hang out with my buddies, or hang out with, or just have a girls' night because I'm tired of. You know, when you know that the reason that I want to do this is not right, stop it, check it.
Can we talk about life?
Hi, guys, and welcome to today's episode of Life, Love, and Relationships. I'm delighted to have you here today. Today, we're talking about the necessity for a pause in a relationship. Sometimes, it's not every ongoing relationship that is healthy. The fact that you guys keep moving on with one another is not a reflection that that relationship is healthy. And a pause also, or a break from a relationship, does not have to be final, depending on how you both handle it. To handle this topic with me today is Coach Aniekan. Welcome, Coach Aniekan. It's
My
good to have
pleasure.
you here.
My pleasure. Nice to be here.
Okay, today we are talking about the necessity for a break or a pause in a relationship. Because sometimes a break can bring clarity, right? It can bring clarity to the relationship itself and to the role of each spouse in the relationship, how what you're doing affects the outcome of the relationship, and then what you need to keep doing and what you need to stop doing. That thing you said in the last episode about becoming who you want to keep, right? So sometimes you need to be a part to do this. So, like I always say, a break is not necessarily a failure. It might be that that break is necessary to catalyze the marriage or the relationship to even a better season of that marriage.
It's a great question, and it's also a topic that most, you see, this topics like this, really, if you look at them in their wholeness, you understand that you need to take some time away from each other, and you need that. Why? Because, just like, I'll give an example. When I get to a place in what I do, and I want to get a deeper perspective, I move away from the work. Just step back from it. And then I know one of the leaders, was it Winston Churchill, used to do that when the battle was very, he would just take off and go to a quiet place, just pull away from it, because it allows you to see things from a better, or a different perspective. Because sometimes you might need to see things from the shoes of your spouse. You might need to see things from the other person's view, so that it gives you a holistic picture. And a break is one way to do that. Now, it's the way that we initiate the break that always breaks the break. You have to initiate it in a way that is mutual. It's like taking a vacation or something. Hey, listen, we've just been at each other's neck for a bit. I do this, you're upset. I do that, you're upset. I'm upset here. It's as if we're we are uptight. There's some frustrations we've bottled up, and not knowing how to express them. We feel the next person that should take the hit should be you,
Yeah.
because you're the crazy person, and you would understand. No,
Yeah.
your spouse is not your punching bag. It's not your understanding bench where you go and release whatever you're releasing. It's for you to deal with that. But sometimes you need to take time away from each other to really evaluate, what is it that I really want. What do I really want? What is it that I really want? What's happening to me? And when you take this break, stop telling yourself, he has to do this, she has to change this, she has to be that. No, ask yourself, who do I want to become to be able to steward this relationship that I have?
I love the
What do I
word
have to
steward.
what do I have to change in order to do that? What do I have to become? What do I have to adjust? Because until I do that evaluation on myself, I could keep fooling myself.
Yeah.
I could be the issue, really. So a break is good, and I like the way Oluwakemi said, it's not a final thing. You're taking time away from each other to understand yourself better, so that when you come together, you can appreciate a small gesture that your spouse
Thank you.
does.
Thank you. The idea of a break itself negates the Christian values when it comes to marriage, right? But sometimes you just know that you are both struggling and it may be wise to take a break. So I need to be clear. We're not encouraging you to take a break when the simple everyday life issues, it is something you can really walk through.
That's true.
So we're not, we don't want you to latch on this and say, oh, no, that's not what we're saying. So at this point, I would like to ask you, how do you know when you should keep pushing through and when you should actually say, To make this marriage work, it's best to take a break.
I like the question, to make this marriage work. That's where you really want to start from. The essence, the purpose of the break is for the sake of the marriage, not for the sake of I've had enough of you. Let me just go and rest my head. Because when you do that, we talk one time about loving yourself and loving others.
Mm.
Most times we tend to, I want my mental space. I want to gather myself. I want
No.
to, you've been on my nerves. You've been on my whatever. What's your nerve doing on the floor for anybody to be on it, by the way? So it's not a matter of I want to take a break so that I can go and, no, I want to understand myself. I want to evolve. I want to develop self so that I can be better in the marriage. But if it is so that I can, because if you don't understand this, you will go out and then you will see someone across the road who
Mhm.
has 20% of what your spouse has, and that becomes a
And you
problem
drop
to
the
you.
80 and
And
take
I
the
think it's
20.
at 20.
Yeah.
That's not common sense. So you're looking at that, and then when you get to that place, you see, because most times we know when we're going around a mountain more than once.
Mm.
Someone said, and how right it is, you can't solve a problem from the same level of mindset that caused the problem. If there's an issue, you both caused it. That's the truth. Either you did something or you did something. So you can't solve it from that level. So what you're looking to do is say, let's pull apart a bit. Let's take a breather. Let's take a vacation. It could be, I'll just go. Some folks do it. I hear they go up the mountain to pray or whatever. You're taking a breather.
Mm.
Let me take a breather, rediscover myself, and then when we come back, we'll ask, so what did you discover? I realize that when you come and you say this, I was taking it all wrong. I was looking at it from a wrong perspective. So you are doing an introspection, you're doing a study on yourself, not on your spouse. If you take a break to go and find out why your spouse should not be doing something, trust me, you'll be more frustrated than
By the
before
time
you
you
went.
come back, yeah.
So it's not about the other person, it's
The break
about
is
you.
about
It's
you.
about you pulling out to rediscover self. Is this what I want? Yes. Then how do I make this work? Because whether I like it or not, sometimes I think that, as I said one time, if life throws you lemon, then make a lemonade. So it's to go and check yourself. You want to, as if you're checking into a place to rethink your perspective, rethink how you're looking at this. Am I looking at this properly? Why is it that when I say this, this happens? Why is it when I do this happens? Because a lot of times, to every action, there's an equal and opposite reaction. So you might just be the trigger that is triggering what's happening in your home or in your relationship. So take a break, find out, and please discuss. I want to take a break. Don't just go and you don't come back for 1 week. That's not what we
That's
mean.
irresponsibility.
That's right. Sit down. Honey, sweetheart, we need to look at a few things and then discuss. I realize that you find the beauty of your spouse even higher because you have been away from them. You understand, my life is intertwined with this person, and then you begin to look at some things from a clear point of view. And with God, He helps you go back to it and get better. Even Jesus would do that. He would go off in the morning for a while, spend time alone with you, and then come back and then make decisions that were very, very sound. So yes, taking a break.
Yeah. Thank you. How do we know the difference between a needed break and ghosting?
Well, just like you said, every one of you, you know the reason that you're doing what you're doing. I said some time ago, I said that
Yeah.
we judge ourselves by our intention, we judge others by their action. When you want to do anything, if you want to go and do something, if you want to do something that is wrong, you know. So that you don't need someone to tell you what you're doing. You know, if the purpose for the break is escape, you know. Sometimes, you know what, I'm just tired of this person. Let me just go and hang out with my buddies or hang out with or just have a girls' night because I'm tired of. You know, when you know that the reason that I want to do this is not right, stop it, check it. You don't need, you don't, I always, listen, when you both decided to marry, you could even have a friend there, but you made the choice yourself. It was a self-decision. So when you're doing things that is not for it, you know. And if you don't know, along the way, I like the way the board puts it. It says, as you're going, a voice will say, that's not the way, this is the way walking it. So as you walk, you would find out, you will have check. We're Christians, we're believers, so we have peace. Peace is one way that God guards us. I'm not peace, I don't have peace about this. Don't do it, just leave it. So when people want to ghost, they know.
Yeah.
When people want to set people up, to fail, they know. But don't do it. Because if you
Yeah.
do it, it will boomerang. You're the one that will end up. And then finally, you can only be judged for what you do, not what your spouse does. You can only be judged for what you do. So if you look at that's why I said when you take that time out, look at yourself. If you look at yourself and you're judging yourself and you're working on yourself, you'll be a better person.
Yeah. One thing that is clear is there must be an objective, an agreed objective between both parties why this break has been necessitated. And you should, I think one of the things that you should also do, if you have the opportunity, you can also, sometimes clarity comes with saying, a professional.
Mm.
So I would encourage you, if you can, talk to, somebody that you respect, or even a professional. I would ask, how best can couples use this break wisely? What are some of the things that, we already know what we want the outcome to be, but what are some of the practical ways to use this time, beyond just, self-reflecting, and, what are some other things that can help?
You want to spend time praying. I kind of emphasize that you have to take out time and pray, because there is a spiritual aspect of your marriage. Bible says it's like Christ and the church. So there's a spiritual aspect of your marriage. So you take time and pray. And what happens is that when you do that and you spend time in the Word, don't go and use it to be watching TikTok and watching social media. You shut all of that out. Spend time and say, Lord, listen, you're giving me a task, you're giving me a responsibility to be an effective spouse, a blessed spouse, a helpmate, or a visionary or a leader in my home. How do I do that? I'm struggling with that. It's difficult for me to do. It's challenging for me to do. I keep rubbing my spouse wrongly. I may think she's the one, but it's me. I may think he's the one, but it's me. So, Lord, help me deal with me so that I can be the best version of myself. Because if I do and I fail in this, it's going to be challenging to succeed in anything else. Do you understand? So, you're having that conversation with yourself. You're sitting down with the one who made you and saying, Lord, shine that light on me. I'm not afraid. I've shined that light on me. And when He now gives you, I call them direction, just go back and implement them.
Can a relationship grow stronger after a break?
Why? It can. It can. If it's done properly, it can. In fact, it should. Let me not say it can. It should.
Yes.
Because you need that time of separation is what builds it builds a reserve in you.
Yeah.
One, to see the value of your spouse, to see how you've been taking things for granted, and then to now begin to come in with a new set of appreciation
Yes.
for the person that you have as a spouse. Because trust me, they would have chosen anybody else but you. You would have chosen anybody else but them, but you chose yourself. So it comes back better, stronger if it's done right. If you're going to look for what to nail the other person with, trust me, it will come back worse. Because remember, once the focus is not you,
Yeah.
you will have issues.
I like that you have said that one of the advantages is one of the clarity that it brings is to help you see the value of the other partner. How best can they avoid the marriage breaking during a breakout? Because there is that possibility. If it is not handled well, things can go even more sour, right? So it needs to be handled with a lot of wisdom, a lot of maturity, a lot of understanding. And that's why I mentioned earlier that both of you must have an agreed objective. It's not something that one partner can decide, and you must start from a place of an agreed objective. So how can we avoid a situation where that marriage, because sometimes some marriages break and they do not have to break. When you look at the variables that led to the break, you realize that if things were handled better, this marriage could have been a great one. So what are some of those things that you would advise not to do so that you don't arrive at a destination that is not favorable to that marriage?
One of the things that I would say don't do is whatever you come up with. Remember, it's just you that has come to this. Even before you discuss with your spouse, see a third party, see a specialist, see someone who can help you. Because sometimes, you see, it could be the fact that when you go into this time on your own, you see other thing that you think is done to you that is wrong. She didn't treat me well. He didn't treat me well. She dished me. She spoke with me anyhow. He talks with me anyhow. He does this anyhow. And then based on that, you think there's something better outside. You'd rather 20-80%. You think there's something better outside. A lot of times, after you have done your internal evaluation, talk to a specialist, sit down, say, listen, this is what this is what I'm sensing. How do I best? Because you know what we said, the purpose for the separation is for the benefit of the marriage, to strengthen the marriage. So if he comes back and wants to weaken the marriage, then it means something was not done right.
Yeah.
The purpose is to strengthen the marriage. The purpose is to look for what I can do better so that this marriage can be the best that it was meant to be. So if I come back and say, no, I'm going to come and tear that, I must have heard something that is different. Now, there are times when you can now realize in that separation that some things have to, a lot of times it is, I have to let you see some things that you're doing or I'm doing is what is affecting what is on ground. So we have to decide to change that. If I decide and say I would not do this, I would not speak down to my wife, no matter what happens, I will not do this. And she decides I will not do this. It will build that up. But if I decide I will not do this, and she doesn't decide to not do what she knows she should not do, we're going to have an issue. If she decides to do something that is good for the marriage, and I decide not to, it's going to have. So the two must come to a place of agreement. There is work to be done, and they must be willing to do their part in the
Yeah.
work, whether the other person does his part or not. If
Yeah.
that doesn't happen, then that break that was supposed to be a healing can now be something that really set them on the other side. So that's what you
And we
don't
don't
do.
want
Don't
that.
come back there and come and make a decision. I've come back. I realized that you treat me like you do this to me, so I'm gone. No, that's not what you do. That defeats the purpose
Of the break.
of the objective of the break. The
Yeah.
break was supposed to bring him so he can come back. That's what it should. So you hear things like, do you know, I've never really appreciated all that you do. You take care of the children, you do this, you support me in so many ways, you do things for me. And I've not found myself pausing to say thank you, appreciating you for what you do. I always like to say you're not doing enough. It's wrong. You see, so I'm checking myself.
Yeah.
Now imagine if you're on the other end and you're
If the
hearing
two
that.
parties are doing
That's
that,
right.
yeah.
That's right.
Yeah.
So that's what we're coming back with. And then
Yeah.
so the healing now comes, and now I have a better appreciation because they say prophet is without honor in his home. So now I have a better appreciation for who I'm married to, and I can now take them for who they are and be who I am around them.
Yes, I can take them. So you're making a conscious decision to take them for who they are. And I want to remind us that the absence of a desired outcome is not that there couldn't have been a better outcome. And that's why we are saying that from the very beginning, you must have an agreed objective. And that is what everyone should keep in mind when going for a break. So our confession for today: I will not rush what requires reflection. If it is mine, it will return all. And I know that I have a part to play. So I commit to play my part for the wholeness of this marriage. In Jesus' name. Amen. Thank you, Coach Aniekan, for being here with us again today. I do hope that I have served you well. Thank you for joining this episode of Life, Love, and Relationships. See you in the next episode.
It's all about life.